Hello, I'm Anthony, and I'm one of the flight instructors here at WINGSAIR Helicopters. Today you'll be flying your discovery flight in the Robinson R44 helicopter. In the Robinson R44 helicopter, we possess the three main controls, which are the cyclic stick, the collective lever, and the anti-torque pedals. These controls are standard in all helicopters. Alright, so the cyclic stick. The cyclic stick is used with our right hand. We push forward, backward, left, or right, very gently of course, in order to move the helicopter in all directions. The collective lever is held with our left hand and is located at the left side of each of our seats. As we increase the collective, or pull it up, we will increase rotor thrust and the aircraft will climb. If we push the collective down, we will decrease the rotor thrust and subsequently the aircraft will descend. Alright, the collective lever allows the helicopter to climb or descend. Anti-torque pedals are the next control input we'd like to speak about. The anti-torque pedals allow the nose to turn. Alright, so when we step on the left pedal, the nose turns or yaws to the left, or when we step on the right pedal, the nose will yaw or turn to the right. Alright, so it's very important to make all your control inputs relatively small so that they're not abrupt and excessive. Alright, keep all of your control inputs rather gentle. Alright, we're going to talk about the four basic flight maneuvers. The four basic flight maneuvers in all of aviation are straight and level flying, turning, climbing, and descending. Alright, this is a view of our cockpit. You'll be sitting in the left seat and your instructor will be sitting in the right seat. While flying straight and level, your goal is to attempt to get your compass on the horizon. If you can keep your compass on the horizon, you know you're holding the aircraft relatively level. What you want to do is make a slight forward or rearward cyclic input with your right hand in order to keep the aircraft flying level. Alright, compass versus the horizon, eyes outside your windshield, this is what you'll see. As you're flying along, the aircraft will be nice and level. If you happen to notice that your compass is moving up above the horizon, your aircraft will indicate a climb. If you happen to know that your compass is moving below the horizon, your aircraft will be indicating a descent. And you should be able to recognize these based on what you're seeing outside the aircraft. Alright, we want to make turns and we want to climb and we want to descend. We want to perform all the flight maneuvers. So today you're going to be making some turns, some climbs, some descents, as well as flying straight and level. You're going to want to input some left or right cyclic depending on which way you'd like to turn. If you'd like to make a left turn, as I have drawn in here on the board, we push left on the cyclic. As we push left on the cyclic, the aircraft will bank. As the aircraft banks, it's going to begin to turn. You're also going to need to control the nose by pulling fore and aft, forward or rearward, on the cyclic while holding that left turn input in as well. So it's a combination of pressure is when you're pushing left and you're also moving slightly forward and rearward to maintain your attitude while turning. Alright, once you've achieved your turning radius and you've figured out where you'd like to roll out of the turn, just simply bring the cyclic right back to center and it will level off. Once you've leveled off, you can continue flying. Alright, the third maneuver I'd like to talk about is the climb. If we're flying along, we're flying along, we are nice and level, compass versus the horizon, we're doing a good job holding the aircraft steady. We want to get some more altitude, we're simply going to pull gently aft on the cyclic. As we gently pull aft on the cyclic, the aircraft is going to start to climb. We're going to start to see that compass rise above the horizon, and we're going to feel that the aircraft is climbing. So just gentle pressure inputs will allow the aircraft to climb. Now, we want to descend the aircraft. Descending the aircraft is a little bit different. We want to make sure that we don't push too far forward so that the aircraft is nosediving. Alright, we don't want to do this. We want to make sure that we are gently lowering the collective while adjusting the attitude with the cyclic forward and rearward. Alright, so in this case, we're not going to make a forward input in order to get the aircraft to descend. We are going to take away rotor thrust. And when we take away rotor thrust, the aircraft is naturally going to want to descend back to the ground. So we're going to control our descent. Alright, our descent should look like this. I'm going to lower the collective and adjust the cyclic to keep my attitude level, and the aircraft will descend with somewhat of a level attitude. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. I'll show you with my right hand. Alright, the aircraft is going to descend with a level attitude. Okay, there it is right off the screen and see it. Alright, keep all of your inputs small. remain calm, keep the aircraft under control. You have a flight instructor with you so that you will not experience anything unusual, because your instructor's there to make sure that everything stays peachy. All right, we want to talk about a few things before we finish our discussion, and those are that our throttle is governed. We want to make sure that when you are holding the collective lever with your left hand, not to squeeze down on it. We want to make sure that you do not override the governor. If you squeeze down on that throttle and don't allow the engine management system to control the engine RPM, we will slow down or speed up the engine unnecessarily. So it's important not to squeeze on that twist grip. All right, your instructor will show you how to properly hold it while in the aircraft. All right, we have 3 items we want to discuss. They're called the SFAR 73 awareness items, okay? And those SFAR 73 awareness items are avoiding low G, the conversation of low rotor RPM, and the conversation of energy management. All right, avoiding low G simply means never force that cyclic forward. We never want to get this helicopter in a nose low descent, in a rapid descent, in a steep descent. This is where we become weightless. And now, as the aircraft is descending with no pressure underneath the rotor system, it will dive and it will roll to the right. The only corrective action in this case is to first pull aft. We need to reload the rotor system and then correct with left cyclic. We never push left first. If we were to push left first, we would get a condition called mast bumping, where as the aircraft is rolling to the right and the disc is tilting to the left, it would separate from the aircraft, and that's dangerous. We don't want that to happen. We are trained to recognize it, and we are trained to properly recover from it. So this will not occur. We are trained and we are experts at this. The next item is low rotor RPM. I mentioned that we shouldn't squeeze down on that twist grip throttle. This is one of the issues that will occur if you are squeezing down on that twist grip throttle. We would hear a loud horn and see a bright orange light at the top right-hand corner of our instrument panel. That will indicate that our rotor blades are slowing down. We don't want this to happen in a helicopter, because we're going to start to descend, and we don't want to descend when we're not ready to descend. So, as we get this indication, we are going to stop it from happening by lowering the collective, and this is where we get a chance to override the governor. We're going to lower the collective and increase engine RPM to restore energy in the rotor system so that they can restore their proper rotational RPM. Okay? And the final conversation is energy management. In a helicopter, we have the ability to auto-rotate to the ground without engine power. So the conversation of altitude and airspeed are important to understand. As you're flying along, you're 500 feet over the ground, and 65 or 75 or 85 knots of airspeed, we happen to lose an engine. We're trained to handle this instance, and this is something that we practice regularly as well. If we were flying along 60, 70, or 80 knots, 500 feet over the ground, and we lost an engine, we would simply lower our collective and enter what's called auto-rotation. This is where the aircraft will start to descend while its rotor system continues to spin. Now, that relative wind that is striking the aircraft from the underside is actually driving our rotor blades. That's actually maintaining their rotational velocity, their RPM. All right, as we get close to the ground, we are going to pull gently aft on the cyclic. As we pull aft on the cyclic, we flare. We arrest our rate of descent with no engine power, reminding you. Aft on the cyclic, flare, 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 flare. We'll roll on the throttle, or we will level the aircraft and make a gentle ground contact and